So let's talk about Luigi's Mansion 3. Released during the calm before the storm, that is 2020, and even won the award for Best Family Game, which really doesn't mean much when all of its competitors were also Nintendo games.
Kind of like Nintendo's chances in this category.
But I digress. Don't let that take away from the fact that this was a phenomenal sequel as far as sequels go. I didn't care much for Dark Moon, so I wasn't expecting anything other than a cash grab with Part 3, but I gotta say, I was wrong. And what's funny is that the first Luigi's Mansion came out in 2001, where we had a more survival horror atmosphere with Luigi trembling in fear as he opened each and every door. But by 2020, Luigi said,
I've been doing this for 19 years. Niggas wanna fight me, fight these kids.
What makes this particular game special to me is the couch co-op. The ability to sit down with a friend and enjoy the adventure together, which is something a lot of modern day games don't bother including anymore. I didn't grow up with Wi-Fi and online subscriptions, so the only times I got to play games with others is when my family came over. So that small addition got me excited to kick back, relax,
and suck the living life force from those that would deny Luigi a well-deserved vacation.
Or, you know, something like that. So simply booting up the game, I was very impressed by the quality I was presented with. The graphics and animations were some of the best I've seen from any Mario game in recent years, on par with Mario Odyssey. It was clear right off the bat the amount of time and love that went into the presentation. From exploring Luigi's room, followed by Mario and Peach's room, and realizing that they were both
Dead and their immortal souls were absorbed by the devil himself.
One by one we will take you.
Boo put them in a painting. But I was pretty impressed from the start. Considering I wasn't expecting much from Nintendo other than another cash grab like we've seen in so many recent Mario games, I'm happy to say that I stand corrected. I also realized quickly that there's a huge emphasis on exploration with the entire environment being interactable. You're going to look like this a lot of the time. Now, as I was saying, you get the watermelon.
Yes. What are you hitting? Oh, that.
Fuck. After discovering our first collectible, it was clear that we'd have to check every nook and cranny to find everything. Which we didn't. Okay, what we got? We got a C! But that's not the point. Another small thing I noticed that EGAD's voice clips were recycled from the first game. Not that it matters, but I did double check most of his old dialogue just to prove my point. Because I'm a lunatic. And then I got curious. Could Nintendo be trying to tell us something?
What the hell is this?
Or maybe not. So the story goes as follows. Luigi and friends receive letters in the mail, inviting them to come to a huge, fancy hotel resort. But in short, the hotel owner, Helen, gravely wanted to earn King Boo's respect and adoration, so she freed him from EGAD's lab and constructed the mansion as a trap for Luigi. With no help from me. I want to die. Luigi barely escapes and finds EGAD, who was also tricked into coming to the hotel, and together the two do nothing. From the comfort of his portable lab as usual, EGAD pretty much tells Luigi what to do throughout the entire game.
Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
Occasionally recalling you to come get upgrades, attachments, or buy items. But mostly he just says, Luigi, you're our only hope, against all odds, without hesitation, and at any costs. Wow. Do my job for me. The ghosts have stolen all of the hotel's elevator buttons and hidden Luigi's friends throughout the building. So instead of taking the stairs, Luigi decides to fight his way through every single floor looking for the elevator buttons. And what really ticks me off about that is, aren't you like a scientist? Can't you just like reach in there and, you know?
He's not that good of a scientist.
Oh. You're telling me he can make that but not program some elevator buttons for me? Am I the only one that was bothered by that? So what did I enjoy about my experience? The presentation. There's 15 floors to the hotel for you to explore, and I loved about 90% of them. With each floor having its own unique theme, from magic to museums, I was blown away. God, that's so cool. The movie studio floor being one of my favorites because I feel like we could green screen like our own joke in here somewhere.
Oh my god, why would you do that?
Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Question is, why wouldn't I do that?
Do it! Do it! Come on, kill me! I'm here! Come on! Do it now! Kill me!
Every time I booted up the game, I was excited to see what the next area had to offer, not only because each area was refreshing, but the pace at which the game progressed seemed almost perfect, with each floor ending in a boss fight specially designed with the floor's theme in mind. Yeah, some areas were shorter than others, but my time with them had been extended due to all the optional exploration. Which is another thing that I wanted to point out. With everything being interactable, I hesitated every time I was about to leave a room, questioning if I had truly found everything. Because so much of what you can find is hidden in plain sight through excellent presentation. My god, the attention to detail is so gorgeous. Whether it's a mirror on the wall reflecting an invisible object. Okay, this right here. Or a really subtle button on the floor. I still think it's funny that he has X'd out copies of everyone's face above the entrance room. Oh hey, how did you do that? Oh, it's a button.
Yeah, it's a button.
How did we miss that? There's always more to find, including more ghosts. We can take this down.
Oh shit.
Oh snap.
Ah!
Oh snap.
It's Luigi.
Oh snap.
Oh!
They even found a way to make Toad useful.
Oh, we have to throw Toad at it.
Toad is a weapon.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely a weapon.
God, can you imagine the audible hell their enemies have to go through when they're at war?
Airstrike standing by.
UAV is up.
Bye, Toad. There's also a frequently asked questions menu in the options screen, which I feel like more games should honestly have. That's helpful. As I mentioned earlier, I was really looking forward to the couch co-op. If you get this game, I would 100% recommend you play it with a friend. We had a lot of fun moments when we were live streaming our experience, like that one time Luigi almost suffocated to death from poisonous gas.
No, we're dying. It's poison.
Or one of our more lighthearted moments where I watched Luigi repeatedly have the life smashed out of him. Alright,
Oh god!
my goo servant, go take care of it for me. You got it, Chief. I'll wait right here.
It's time to stop.
Alright, try again. Never give up on your dreams.
Comes a giant fish!
Oh my god, fine. I'll do it myself. See, look, how hard was that?
Very! Oh look!
And more than half the time, I got to say dumb shit like, come on, where's your sick gamer skills? Even the music I found to be very charming. No matter which way you spin it, all around I had a fun time. So remember how I said I enjoyed 90% of the hotel's levels? Yeah, there's always that one level that I'm sure everyone universally hates. The water level. Boo! But I'm not here to complain about one specific area. I'm here to complain about something much worse. Hand-holding. Hand-holding is what happens when a game decides that its target audience is too stupid to figure things out on their own. So the player gets bombarded with a million instances of, hey, you're doing it wrong, here, let me show you. And my god, that's so annoying. Like, I understand it's a children's game, but its core premise is exploration. Just let me do that! In the beginning, the camera gets panned away from the player several times. EGAD constantly calls you to say, hey, do what I tell you to. And even during boss fights, if the player doesn't figure out the boss's weakness, then EGAD literally calls you and gives you the answer. Like, dude, let me figure it out!
Stop telling me what to do.
First we're going this way. Oh my god.
Just leave me alone.
Ghosts are gonna find you.
I mean, honestly.
Go to the
Oh
damn
my
elevator.
god. Alright, new floor. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't want to talk. I just want to play the game. Good job. Oh no, there's gotta be something around here.
Stop telling me what to do.
Thankfully, Thankfully, you can turn EGAT off.
Thank God. Thank Jesus. Stop holding my hand and let me play the game.
Another thing that bothered me on a more minor scale was the amount of animations done on Luigi. Like, I appreciate the attention to detail, but he jumps every time there's a noise anywhere in the room. And every time he does, there's a stall in the player's controls. Now, this may sound like a good feature, but the fact that it happens every 5 seconds does get a bit annoying after a while. Oh, I can't get those yet. Like in the first game we had, but that was it. This one kind of overdoes it. There were other times I felt annoying, like Toad constantly getting in the way, or Luigi having to backtrack occasionally.
The second floor basement of the tank hangar. I have to go all the way back there? Well, yeah.
But they happen so inconsistently that it's honestly not worth complaining about. Like I said, these are all minor things. Once you get past the first few floors, the hand-holding starts to lessen and you can turn off hints beyond that point. Thank God. We tried to cover the multiplayer as well, but it's designed in a way that you need at least 4 people minimum, otherwise you're not really going to be able to do it, and that kind of sucks. But aside from that, I think my biggest gripe with Nintendo is that they don't really know how to introduce new villains anymore. Sure, the main antagonist is King Boo, but the only reason he could be here is because he had to be set free by a fan of his? It's not very interesting, and neither is she. Helen doesn't appear that often, and lacks any form of personality worth remembering when she is on screen. Even considering the fact that each boss is part of a theme, and their fight is suited to their own individual floor, she has no theme aside from being obsessed with King Boo, and her fight isn't even centered around that. I'm sorry, Helen, but you're boring. So while they were still promoting the game, one of the main selling points Nintendo tried to hook us on was the fact that we could play as this soulless husk version of Luigi, known as Gooigi, which is basically him but in Jello form. It honestly reminded me of Terminator 2 with the amount of unsettling soullessness there was when Gooigi was the focal point of a scene.
Honey, are you okay?
Your foster parents are dead.
They honestly could have just written in a new character, or had Mario or EGAD be the sidekick this time, but if they did that, then we wouldn't have gotten to listen to the sound so many times.
Oh, the noise!
Honestly, Nintendo is known for pushing the norm when it comes to creating new mechanics for their main IPs, which is why Star Fox will unfortunately never come back. Gooigi feels like he belongs here, and in my mind is a welcomed addition to the cast. Because with each sequel they've done, Luigi has always received the new upgrade, so yeah, why not throw in a flubber-like slave to endlessly die for him? I mean, honestly, now that I think about it, EGAD could really rule the planet with this kind of technology.
200,000 units are ready, with 1 million more well on the way.
Hashtag Gooigi for Smash. So the ghosts are cute. They're funny, they're energetic, and they make the game more enjoyable overall. Not because fighting them is intense like in Doom or anything. Oh god, could you imagine?
Who's number 1 now? Luigi.
But they bring a whole lot of personality to the table. There's nothing special about their attack patterns, and as far as I'm concerned, they're pretty much the same thing in every game. But the ghosts here are more vivid and pleasant to watch. When you walk into a room and see this, you can't help but want to see how the rest of their routine plays out. Some of them don't even want to bother you until you bother them first, and that almost makes me feel bad for capturing them. Stupid ghosts, you made me look bad. Booga booga booga!
Oh no!
Each time you encounter one with a different outfit, it's not really a matter of trying to figure out how to beat them. They're not hard to fight.
It's not about winning, it's about fun.
Especially considering Luigi's new slam move where he just straight up
Projects, the drugs, the children, the dogs.
And even while doing that, you can inflict damage on the surrounding enemies and watch as they beg for mercy. You know, because you're a monster. There's also times where Luigi will get stuck in traps and Gooigi has to be the one to get him out. This is where that couch co-op comes back into play, which can lead to a lot of funny moments like this.
I get an ETM when you can get this gate open? Please hurry. The gate! Open the gate!
Fuck, come here!
Listen! Hurry!
But overall, the combat is very engaging, lighthearted, and relaxing. So the graphics are exactly what you'd expect from a Nintendo game, especially one from the Mario franchise. The cute cartoony look has always been a staple for them, and that's fine, but I personally can't wait for Nintendo to step up and make a hyper-realistic look for the franchise.
I guess I am a rookie after all.
Don't worry, Meryl. It's me they want.
Even I know that. It's the oldest trick in the book. The sniper's using me for bait to lure you out.
But until that day comes, I'm fine with what we've got. Like I said earlier, the focus on presentation is what got me hooked. Any game can show off an idea, but it's more about how that idea is given to the consumer. You can serve a delicious gourmet meal. Or Burger King. The lighting within each individual area is another big thing that kept me invested too. The animation quality looked like something out of a Disney movie, so I really appreciate that Nintendo decided not to go the easy route and animate some hot garbage fire.
What?
They put their heart and soul into animating the best gourmet meal that they possibly could.
Extra thin!
So Luigi's Mansion is one of Nintendo's most well-respected IPs, and I consider it to be my first survival horror game from when I was growing up. I've played the first game around 11 times or so, and even 100% completed both of the previous games before this one. Honestly, this is the sequel longtime fans deserve. And even if you're new to the idea as a whole, it's still a fun adventure, so I would 100% recommend you pick it up. For those of you that are new, we rate games on a scale of 1 to 10 here, with every major complaint reducing the score by 1, the closer to 10 the better the game. So for me, Luigi's Mansion 3 was a solid 9 out of 10. Reason being that I couldn't find much wrong with the game in any major way. I enjoyed 90% of the boss battles and rarely had any other complaints. I mean, it did win Family Game of the Year.
And the game award goes to Luigi's Mansion 3. Congratulations.
So nothing really bothered me on a consistent level, but there were those minor annoyances everywhere else, like the hand-holding, the constant guidance, and the fucking water level. A rotational axis on a floating death trap isn't I understand that this is a children's game, but my response to that is, kids are naive, but not stupid. Let them figure it out. Anyway, that's all for now. If you enjoyed what you saw here, please share it with a friend. I have a lot more reviews coming up, so I hope you stick around for those too. And if you want to be part of the adventures, you can follow our horrible live stream channel, Phossy Live. Otherwise, consider supporting me on Patreon, or just following me on my socials. Until then, stay hydrated. I love you.